So let's finally talk about projects. So what's the goal? You want to be able to explore data sets. So you want to be able to find interesting patterns that is that is not obvious, right? And it's okay if it's obvious, as long as you use a little bit of data to sort of reveal something which someone would have not thought about it, right? A little bit of wow factor always works. Okay, and as we have been working through a lot of these notebooks on different data sets, you should be able to ask real world questions and see if you can help answer with data. Okay, and you want to be able to combine data sets if you need be, like the data set on cost of living and income and house prices we were working through. How we were able to combine different, or how someone was able to compile a data set, a very very small and clean data set out of multiple different sources. If you need, you might want to do that as well, right? So it depends on the kind of question you're trying to help answer, right? And if you can attempt to predict, that's even better. If you can attempt to predict based on the past, based on the data you have, of whatever you're trying to predict. For example, let me give you a scenario. For example, you might be out there looking to buy a car, right? What features and what models and what are the different factors and levers which actually make that final car price, right? So you need to be able to see which factor is the biggest determinant and what can you change with that factor if you don't want to pay too much money for that car, right? So something along those lines. Same thing applies to house. Same thing applies to any major purchase you're doing in your life, right? Above all, tell a story. Jupyter Notebook is the perfect setup we have. You can add findings. You can talk about it. You can. I think the story is more important, along with data, of course. But even if you do not get to the final solution, that's fine. But at least that attempt to sort of walk through that flow of what you're trying to do, I think that's also really going to be good. Okay. So some data sources you can use. Kaggle is always number one. It has a lot of data. So one thing about Kaggle, there is a way you can filter data sets based on usability score. Okay, and typically I tend to, especially if I'm new to this and if I'm working on trying to explore data sets, I would pick a data set which has a usability score of, like, say, 10. Okay, what that typically means is that the data is more cleanly defined, the columns are more cleanly defined, the variables are more cleanly defined, and so, right? So it's easier to work through that instead of trying to find what each and every variable means, right? Data.gov is always there. Census, these are all rich stores of data. There's a new site I came across called multiple.com. It has small data sets, but it has all stock market, economy, productivity related data. And I think if you have an interest in that domain, I think that would be a site you want to explore. There's this UCI data sets, a bunch of data sets which are also small, very descriptive, very easy to use. So you can always use those. Data.world also has a good set of data sets. There's this Transparent California data store. Okay, it has data on all the benefits and salary histories of all public employees in the state of California, right? So if you want to really find out what public employees in general make, I think it's a good source. And one way you can sort of use that is, let's say you are looking at an elementary school, an average elementary school teacher's income in the state of California. You can sort of combine data sets from different states and see whether the teachers here are making more or less, and whether they are able to afford the basic quality of life. And so that's that's one of the ways where you can sort of do some exploratory data analysis, so some leads on what kind of projects you can work on. Of course, there is a huge set of data analysis being used in the domain of marketing and customer satisfaction. You should be able to find some data sets associated with that on Kaggle. Like what levers do you have to tweak? Where how did that advertising campaign helped or hurt? Probably not hurt, but did it help in getting more business? Okay, so something along those lines. When do the customers drop off? What is there a quality metric which causes the customer to remain in your business or drop off, right? Pricing strategies, dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing is basically search pricing, where let's say you're taking Uber and it's 11:30 at night and it's Friday night. That price is going to be different than 11:30 during the daytime, right? So that's an artifact of dynamic pricing. Airlines have been using this forever. Hotels are using it. Even theme parks, even Disney is starting to use that, right? Because they are also trying to sort of optimize the amount of traffic in their theme park, right? So improving operations, reducing costs. There could be something at work you might be able to access, and it's going to serve dual purpose. You not only will you be able to finish this project here, but it's going to help you sort of take this analysis or this finding at work and maybe make an operation better, make your operations more efficient, or reduce costs, and so on, so right. Anything to do with stock and bond market data and the economy, like productivity, growth, and its association with the stock market performance or the bond market behavior, interest rate data, and all those things, right? So there is a lot to it, which you can find on multiple.com and other websites, right? And anything on the environment. Can you use data to design better cities? So cities are now installing a lot of these devices, which are called IoT devices, which are continuously collecting data, right? And like pollution level, traffic patterns, and so on. So can you think about something where you can go pitch something to a city planner, saying that, hey, if you do this, this is the benefit to the community, to the city, and so on, so right. So the data is out there. You should be able to Google it. There is a and you can always come to me through emails or some other means where we can sort of discuss as to what kind of likely projects you can sort of take on. Okay, and if you get stuck, Google is always out there. Okay, you can always Google anything. You should be able to, and most of those queries you're going to make, say, how do I change the name of a column, right? Or how do I combine two columns? How do I manipulate a column? Most of the time it's going to lead you to Stack Overflow, okay, which is a sort of a forum where a lot of these people help answer a lot of queries you might have, right? And many other web forums. But remember that whatever you're trying to do, someone has always tried it before. Okay, so there's nothing you probably are doing which is going to be unique. It might be unique from the perspective of the problem you're solving, but the mechanics of how you want to manipulate your data or what code is going to do what, you should be able to find it if you get stuck. Okay, so the approach is always keep trying, okay, and don't give up. Okay, so don't give up. You'll get to a solution at some point. You want to adopt that craftsman mindset we just discussed, where you want to keep plugging at it, and eventually you will get you will be able, it will become like second nature, right? It just takes time. Just with anything with practice, it's going to get easier and faster and better. Okay.